Hello. Hi, guys. Thank you for joining me today, and hello to anyone who's watching the replay. Today, we are going to talk about AI-related vocabulary. So, I mean, you can't even turn on the TV or leave the house without hearing people talking about AI. So, very topical. Vitali, hello. So, how are you guys today? I hope you're well. It is raining here. Helen, hello. It is raining here. Of course, we have to begin by talking about the weather. I feel like it's been raining for a month now. No signs of stopping. So yeah, I'm sick of it. I'm ready for some sunshine. I had a class yesterday with a student who lives close to where I live, and when I asked her, "How are you?" the first thing she said was, "Ugh, I need the sun, no more rain." Snow! Oof. Hey Sam, hello. Snow. No, thank you. I've always thought snow is beautiful, but if you actually want to do anything, go anywhere, very inconvenient. I used to live in Bristol, which has a lot of hills. So when it snowed and it would get icy, you'd sort of slide around the place. I remember hanging onto railings, sort of pulling myself up the street. Hello, Jesus, how are you? I'm going to share my slides. Okay, in this lesson, you are going to learn some essential vocabulary to talk about AI and English, in English, sorry, not and English. So some words, some phrases, idioms, and also some phrasal verbs. So AI, artificial intelligence. Now, I just want to take a moment to talk about the pronunciation here. So it's A-I, but when you say them together, you get an intrusive y sound. AI, AI, AI. So, and a point about that, abbreviations are generally stressed on the final syllable. So we don't say AI, it's AI. Just like MOT, which stands for Ministry of Transport, and is also the name of the annual test that people have to put their cars through to make sure that they're safe. BBC, EU, UK, PA. PA, in case you're wondering, is personal assistant. So always stressed on the second syllable. What is AI, and is it countable or uncountable? This is a question that I often get. Dark, rarely sunny. Oof, I couldn't live there. I would struggle with that. So first, let's talk about AI as an uncountable noun. Yes. So the use or study of machines or software that can think, learn, and make decisions. So this is AI in a general sense. AI is transforming industries by automating complex tasks. Many companies are investing in AI to improve customer service and efficiency. So if you invest in something, you dedicate time and or money to it in the hopes of achieving a return. So a positive result. So that is AI as an uncountable noun, but it's also a countable noun. So we can refer to an, and frequently do refer to an AI. So in this case, a machine or program that can think, learn, and make decisions. So you might say the new AI can generate realistic human voices with incredible accuracy. So in this case, speaking about one specific AI. And Scientists are developing AIs that can diagnose diseases faster than doctors. Bit of a dodgy sentence there. Faster than doctors can. So AIs, just to draw your attention to this plural form here, there's no apostrophe. We don't say AI apostrophe z. Okay, why? Because it's a plural abbreviation. We don't need an apostrophe. This is something I often see a mistake where people with plural abbreviations, they add an apostrophe, like ATMs. That's not correct. More about apostrophes, I have a blog post. I'll put a link in the description in case you're interested. Yeah, Jesus, the charm of snow wears off phenomenally fast. Very true. Very true. It was always cool in England as a kid when it would snow because they would close the schools. So you'd have the day off school because a lot of people couldn't get there. I used to walk to school, so I could still get there, but nice to have the day off. So we're going to run through some vocabulary now, and then we'll get to idioms, and then finally phrasal verbs. Idioms, in my opinion, arguably the most interesting part of this. So machine learning, this is a term that's thrown around a lot these days, used a lot. Feel free to put any questions or examples or other vocabulary in the chat, by the way, anything that sort of comes to you. Computers having the ability to learn from data and improve their performance without being explicitly programmed. So basically, machine learning is machines learning on their own without a human there sort of telling them what to do. So they take the data and they develop themselves. They learn and they improve. So machine learning helps recommend films based on your viewing history. So this is how Netflix works and Amazon Prime and whatnot. When you get your recommendations list, the machine or the program learns from what you've watched previously. Spam filters in email use machine learning to detect and block unwanted emails. I have the same thing on my phone with suspected spam phone calls and text messages. There's a filter there that automatically blocks them. So I don't know. What do you guys think of machine learning? What's your opinion on this? Is it a good thing? How do you feel about AI in a general sense? I have mixed feelings. So yeah, algorithms we are going to come to in a moment. So an algorithm is a set of rules or steps that a computer follows to solve a problem or perform a task. So I am not an expert on computer science, but, well, not at all, not by any means. But the algorithm, I believe, that's programmed by a human, by a person. The machine doesn't create its own algorithm. But I could be wrong about that. So is it an example of machine learning? I think it's part of machine learning. They perhaps take the rules or steps. A fence sitter when it comes to the AI craze, yeah. Let's take a moment and talk about this idiom, to be sitting on the fence. If you're sitting on the fence, you haven't decided. You don't know which way you're going to go. Is it good? Is it bad? Don't know. I'm sitting on the fence. I can't decide. unable or unwilling to decide, if you are on the fence. People very often say, if you ask them, well, what's your opinion? And they will respond with, I'm on the fence. In other words, I haven't decided yet. I'm not sure. So search engines use complex algorithms to rank web pages based on relevance. And the thing that all YouTubers and people who post on social media try to figure out is the various algorithms. So YouTube's algorithm determines which posts appear on your feed. And there are so many videos out there about how the algorithm works and how you can increase your reach and get more people to see your content as a YouTuber or Instagram character or whatever it is you do, TikTok. Does anyone really know how the algorithm works? It changes all the time, I think. I think ultimately they say, don't post things that you want to post things that your audience wants to see. So I must say I'm guilty of fairly often posting something because I want to post it. If I think it's interesting, then I'll make a video on it. But equally, I want to hear from you guys. So if you have something you'd like to see a video about, tell me. You can comment on an existing video, or you can use the community area of my page and make suggestions. Tell me what you want to see. And very often I will do it within reason. Yeah. So this one, my jury's still out. I haven't heard my jury's still out, but that's not to say people don't say it. People tend to say the jury's still out. And that means a decision hasn't been made yet. So the jury's out on that one. If I were talking about myself personally, I'd probably go with I'm on the fence. Bashir, hello. Cool. So let's have our next one, chatbot. How do you feel about chatbots? Personally, they drive me crazy. I have a website, englishwithm.com, which I sort of created and I manage myself. Well, when I say created, I use Wix. I didn't sort of program the thing myself. But I had a problem with it. I was trying to locate a piece of code that I'd put in there like a year or a couple of years ago, and I couldn't find the piece of code that I was looking for. So I used the chatbot, which is the program designed to simulate human conversations, and it's often used in customer service. So nowadays, pretty much every website has their little customer service chatbot, and they ask how they can help. The Theo, hello. They drive me crazy. I was asking it, where can I find this code? And I wasted about 40 minutes before eventually I gave up and said, I need to speak to somebody. And when I spoke to someone, they resolved my query in, it wasn't even 5 minutes. It was really quick. So the online store uses a chatbot to answer frequently asked questions and assist customers 24/7. So, 24/7 customer service, good, but not if it wastes your time. What do you guys think? Have you had positive or negative experiences of chatbots? Banks, this is another one, now offer chatbots that help customers check their account balances, make transactions. it drives me a little bit crazy nowadays how difficult it can be to speak to a human being. I don't know if that's just because I'm not as young as I used to be, so I remember the days before all of this, perhaps. Automation. So this is the use of technology to perform tasks with minimal human intervention. So this increases efficiency and decreases error, in theory. Many factories use automation to streamline production and improve consistency. I think it does improve consistency. And businesses use it to handle repetitive tasks like sending invoices and scheduling appointments. Being British, I say schedule. In North American English, that would be schedule. So scheduling appointments or scheduling appointments. Let's see. This is an interesting one, in my opinion. Pandora's box. Usually used in the context of opening Pandora's box. So if you do something that creates a lot of unexpected problems, so the point here is that you don't expect them. Hideaki, yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it? Sometimes you're like, just let me speak to a person. A friend of mine just pushes buttons on the phone until she gets a human being. So releasing an advanced AI without proper safeguards could open Pandora's box, leading to security concerns. So yes, this is something that concerns me. We have AI developing at a faster rate than regulation. So what do you think is going to happen here? I'm a little bit, I don't know, perhaps, I don't know what you call this, conspiracy theorist maybe? I need my tinfoil hat. Or, I don't know, pessimistic in this respect. I sort of see us walking happily straight into a Terminator 2 style future where the machines decide that we are the problem and eliminate us. But, obviously, I hope not. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Allowing AI to generate deep fake videos has opened Pandora's box of identity fraud risks. This is absolutely true. There are, I think a lot of people have had problems because of deep fake. Sometimes I worry that that might happen to me. I think anyone who's out there on the internet is at risk of this. Yeah. So if you ever see any, video of me doing something crazy, it might not be me. Because I don't do crazy stuff nowadays. Cutting, yes. Going down the rabbit hole. Pandora's box, very much like going down the rabbit hole. You never know where you're going. This makes me think, so for those of you who don't know, I recently started a second YouTube channel reading classic literature. Today I posted The Mask of the Red Death by Edgar Allan Poe. So if you like listening to classic literature audiobooks, be sure to check that out. But the reason this made me think of that is that Alice in Wonderland is on my list. I might do that next, depending on how much time I have. So that's where that going down the rabbit hole phrase comes from. Folsom, good morning. Morning for you. It's nearly 4 p.m. here. Let's see. Cutting edge. This is an adjective. The most advanced or innovative. This word I say innovative. You can say innovative as well, whichever you prefer. So this AI-generated art is cutting-edge technology. It is the most modern and up-to-date, the most advanced. They use cutting-edge AI to detect fake news online. So AI itself, you could argue, is cutting-edge technology. Let's see, let's have another one. So I seem to have chopped off the top of my screen. I hope you guys can see it properly. I'm going to, okay. I'm just going to remove myself for a moment there. That didn't help. Okay. So in any discussion of AI, the good and bad aspects are going to come up. So I just want to give you some vocabulary to talk about this. Other ways to say good and bad aspects. Yes, stirring up a hornet's nest. So that's another one, similar to opening Pandora's box. Another one is to open a can of worms. So a whole bunch of ways to say this. So good and bad aspects are advantages and disadvantages. They're also often referred to as benefits and drawbacks, and pros and cons. Is there any difference between these things? Pros and cons is more informal, so the others are more formal. If you were writing an essay on AI, then you would want to stick with advantages and disadvantages or benefits and drawbacks. Don't use pros and cons in formal writing. Very common in spoken English, though. Okay, so just to give you an example, one benefit of AI is that it can save us from repetitive tasks. However, we cannot overlook the potential drawback of reduced employment opportunities. So if AI is doing these jobs, that's one less job for a person. Merits and demerits, yeah. I think that might be more common in North America than in the UK, and reminds me of something. Demerits. Reminds me of that Disney film, The Sword in the Stone, the animated one from many years ago. Job displacement is indeed a real concern, one of the biggest, I think, with AI. So just to point out, overlook, we cannot overlook the potential drawback. If you overlook something, you fail to notice or consider something or somebody. So we can use it to talk about things and people. Okay. Now we're going to look at some AI-related idioms. So these idioms, they're not specifically about AI, but they're very often used in any discussion on AI. So a double-edged sword. I don't know if you've heard this one before, but something that has both benefits and drawbacks, or pros and cons. So you could say that AI is a double-edged sword, and it's a noun. So we say is a double-edged sword. It improves efficiency, but can also replace jobs. So we've got the good and the bad together. AI in education is a double-edged sword. It helps students, but it can also be misused. Yes. During the summers, I teach academic English at university, and students, I just have lost count of the number of essays and sort of research projects that I've had handed in that have very obviously been written by ChatGPT. It is a bad idea. Don't do it. Any students watching, your teacher knows, it's very obvious. And usually they don't really address the question as directly as they should, because ChatGPT tends to be a little bit general in its responses. So be very wary of that. By all means, use it to get ideas, use it to come up with a structure, but don't let it write the whole piece of work, because it won't do a great job. Currently, perhaps that will change in the future, but it's not there yet. So I've had some very funny things as well as a result of that. And when you ask the student, what does this mean? And they can't explain it. It's obvious that they haven't written the work themselves. Just want to point out this use of misused. So miss as a prefix means incorrectly. Misbehave. If you misbehave, you behave badly, incorrectly. If you misunderstand, then you understand incorrectly. Mishear. You don't hear correctly. You hear the wrong thing. Or misspell. So people often misspell my surname. I get all kinds of variations on it. A no-brainer. Just wondering. Well, I hope you can see the screen properly. Do let me know if you can't, because I can't. Something funny going on in the platform. Yeah, easy. So yeah, something that's very obvious or easy to decide. So using AI to speed up translations is a no-brainer for international companies. Again, as long as there's someone there to check that it's correct. You don't just want to blindly trust the AI because, it's wrong often. I must say, if I have to write an email or an email or something in Spanish, I tend to write it myself, ask ChatGPT to look at it and correct it for me. And then I look at it again and make any corrections that need to be made, because I can see when it's wrong. Should we automate this boring task? Of course, it's a no-brainer. It's such an easy decision. It's a no-brainer. No brain is required in order to make this decision. Jesus, thank you for letting me know. Good, that's a relief. Yeah, push the envelope or envelope. So you can say this envelope, envelope. And you can see in the picture there is a person of somebody literally pushing an envelope. I don't know where this idiom comes from. It's a bit weird because it means to go beyond normal limits, to innovate. So if you innovate, then you are leading the field, you're creating something new. What does this have to do with envelopes and pushing them? I don't know. If you have any thoughts on this, let me know in the comments. This new AI model is really pushing the envelope in speech recognition. So it means that it's innovating, it's doing something that other AI models don't do. AI-generated music is pushing the envelope of what machines can create. Yeah. Will there be, can AI create things that are as good as the fabulous composers of the past? Do we have any new composers nowadays who are as good as like Mozart, Beethoven, Chopin? Maybe we do, and I'm not knowledgeable in that area. What do you think of that? I find it a bit weird, personally. Like art, AI-generated art. It's just a bit strange. Is anything real anymore? If it's created by AI, does that mean it's not real? Raising a red flag. This is an idiom that's used very much in many contexts, very often to talk about relationships, like potential romantic partners, like red flag behavior. So to raise a red flag, to signal or warn of something bad or dangerous. So, yeah. I once dated a guy who insulted my mum. That to me was a red flag. It was like a, warning that this was not the right person for me. Bias in AI decision-making raises red flags about fairness. Yeah. AI ultimately gets its information from us, from the internet, and human beings are biased. So if you are biased, you lean unfairly in one direction. So there's a reason why teachers in England, anyway, do not mark their students' exams, because hopefully you like your students and you want them to pass, which means that you are biased. You're not objective when you look at something. So being biased, the adjective, I'll pop that in the chat. To be biased, not objective. So yeah, people are biased, therefore AI is also biased. If AI makes mistakes in medical diagnoses, this should definitely raise red flags, especially since I think AI medical care is going to be something that becomes more widespread in the future. AI doctor's appointments. So, yeah, I don't know. Would you feel comfortable with that, having a condition or something diagnosed by artificial intelligence? Okay, some phrasal verbs now. Take over. Yeah. I feel iffy about that too, Jesus. I mean, on the one hand, you think, well, AI is probably smarter than a lot of human beings, but still, yeah, I don't know. So if you take over a job or a role, you become responsible for it. And you can see the picture in the corner there, from one person to another. So when a teacher, for example, goes on maternity leave, that is, they stop working for a period of time in order to have a baby, another teacher has to come and take over to do their job for them, to become responsible for their work until they're back. So AI is taking over repetitive tasks in customer service. It is becoming responsible for them in place of the humans that did that work before. Some people worry AI will take over too many jobs. Yeah, I don't know. It will take over jobs. Will it also create them? What do we think? Turn out. To have a particular result. The AI model turned out to be more accurate than expected. So it's like saying, in the end, ultimately, this was the result. It turned out that the chatbot could hold a conversation for hours. I saw a news article the other day talking about this. They were talking about young people feeling comfortable telling their problems basically to, in this case, it was talking about ChatGPT, and that young people felt more comfortable talking to ChatGPT about their problems, particularly medical problems, than they did speaking with an actual real doctor. So, and this is something that's come up before. I wonder, Jesus, you might have pointed this out or brought this up when we were having a discussion before about using artificial intelligence to learn languages and how it provides a judgment-free zone for people. So, yeah, people feel more comfortable talking to AI, practicing a language, because they don't feel embarrassed. There's nobody watching them and judging. I can definitely understand that as a shy person. Keep up with. This means to stay updated or at the same level. So I can't keep up with all the new AI tools being released. That means they are releasing them faster than I'm able to try them. Definitely true. It's hard to keep up with AI developments because they change so fast. Yes, and that also I think is true. Yeah. IELTS, it can feel like a hard slog at times. But yeah, the key with languages, that's it. Don't ever give up. Be persistent. And language learning, as I've said many times, is never finished. So you can sort of look at that as like, ugh, it's never finished. Or you can look at it more like, okay, it's never finished. Great. There's always something new to learn, to develop. It's good for our brains. This is another thing in the debate about AI. Does AI make us stupid? Do we just not use our brains so much anymore because we can just use AI to do everything for us? I don't know. What do you think? I guess the key to that is how you approach AI. You have to think critically about it. Yeah. Vitaly, I have to say, I agree. I hope so too. But equally, I'm not holding my breath. This is a nice expression. I'm not holding my breath. Not holding my breath. It means that I'm not expecting it to happen like anytime soon. Or ever. Sometimes. Yeah. Let's see, what have we got left? Figure out. To figure something out. Very common phrasal verb. To understand or solve something. I'm trying to figure out how to get my AI assistant to recognize my voice better. Yeah, I've had this problem with an app that I was using. I was actually testing it out and it didn't recognize my schwa sound, which was a bit weird. I don't know. Scientists are still figuring out how to make AI more human-like. Yeah. You've probably seen the latest AI humanoid, that sort of with a human appearance. And of course, it's still, they don't look real. We're not in Terminator 2 land yet, where, you've got the the liquid metal T1000 that can imitate any human that it wants. And would you want that to be the case? Would you want AI to look exactly like humans? What's the other film where that happens? Was it Blade Runner? That old one from the 80s? I think there's a remake as well, where they are AIs, I believe. So you wouldn't know. How would you know if they looked exactly like we did? Do you think that will happen? Okay, so that's the end of the presentation. I'm going to put a question in the chat. Find it. Okay. Little quiz question for you. All right. Oof, look at my hair. I look like I've been dragged through a hedge backwards. Very wild. So this question here. AI is because it makes life easier, but also creates challenges. Aha, Vitaly, that was so fast, so fast. A double-edged sword, yes, exactly. Game changer. So you could absolutely describe AI as a game changer, although in this particular context, we're talking about two sides of the coin. Easier life, but also challenges. So double-edged sword is the most appropriate answer here. So let's see. What about this next one? Sorry about that, guys. The new AI-powered translation tool is so advanced. It is really, what do you think? Yeah. My laptop in the last week or so has started to occasionally freeze, which is what it just did, which I guess means that it's dying and I'm going to have to buy a replacement, which is rough because I can't afford a replacement at the moment. So, okay. Cutting edge, groundbreaking, good answers. Good answers. It's not what I was thinking of when I wrote the question, but they work. It's really cutting edge. It's really groundbreaking. How about an idiom? Can you think of an idiom that works here? Yeah. So you're all right with cutting edge and groundbreaking. What about the idiom? Do you remember the one that I don't understand, like where it comes from? I'll give you the first part. We're pushing something. What are we pushing the envelope? Yeah, Jesus. So also cutting edge, groundbreaking, various options there. Okay. What about this one? Just loading it up now. If an AI system shows bias in decision making, it should about fairness. Yes. Yes, Hideaki, and the verb, yeah, raise, waving the red flag. It should raise red flag. Red flags. You can use the singular or plural form, yeah, so raise red flags or raise a red flag. Both are correct, both very common. Not sure which is more common. see, let's have another one. When AI generated art first became popular, many people said it was technology. So here we're looking for an adjective to describe the noun technology. Yeah. Cutting edge, state of the art, innovative. Apologies for the delay there. My screen had frozen again and I didn't realize it. Oh dear. I don't want to buy a new computer. Scientists are still trying to how to make AI more ethical. What do you think? It's like an engine sputtering. Yeah, it is. It's like this is the pebbles falling before the rock crashes me on the head. You know, the computer is starting to figure out, yes. Oh, he says I could cry. I really, I don't have the funds for a new computer at the moment, but so I can't live without it. You know, my job is here's another option, work out. Yeah, you can also say that. So scientists are still trying to work out how to make AI more ethical. So figure out, work out, often used interchangeably. Cool. I think there's just one more. And then we'll finish before my computer dies completely. So what about this one? AI has started to customer service jobs, replacing human workers. Yes, Hideaki, that was super fast. Vitali, yes. AI has started to take over customer service jobs, replacing human workers. Much to my dismay, whenever, kind of been in action for ages, hasn't it? With those automated, when you try and call the bank and you get the press 1 for press 2. You think, and the option that you want isn't there, of course. The worst one is the UK tax office. Oh my goodness. Round in circles. Disaster. Much to our chagrin. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you learned some new vocabulary and how to apply it. And we'll see you next week. I've decided to make this a regular day and time. So Thursdays at 3:30 for the live stream. If you have a suggestion for next week's topic, let me know. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm open to suggestions. That's what I'm trying to say there. So cool. Thank you, Hideaki, Vitali. Thank you, everybody. And see you in the next one.